The Lockhart Perspective.
Hello, and good morning to everyone. How are you today? Well, looks like we're just going to get into a few stories this morning. I found that there were a couple of stories that did interest me, and it is quite early here. But I think we should probably get into a couple of these. First off, I want to say good morning to each and every one of you, and I want to thank all of you guys for your support for last evening. We had a good time. We had one of our moderators come up and join us, and that's something also that I want to do often. Is to have some of you guys come up and just chat, shout out with us and say hey and all that good stuff. And then we also had our brother Ronnie visit with us. And that's always a very nice blessing and a wonderful treat. So, yeah, did you know that they're trying to tell our kids not to say yes, sir, no, sir? It's like the last bastion of respect, the last bastion of hope, last bastion of whatever. Bastion. You ever think about that word, bastion? It's just I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so they are trying to tell the kids not to say yes sir, no sir. And I don't think I like that because, in the South, I don't know how that's going to play out because, Southern people, that's just what we do. We're not one of these cultures that are disrespectful. But pupils should drop Mr. or Miss and refer to staff as teacher in an attempt to eradicate gender in school. A union funding training session has recommended. Dr. Ellie Barnes, a chief executive and of the Educate and Celebrate charity, told teachers that they should be moving toward, quote, gender-free model, a gender-free model in a 90-minute lecture organized by the National Education Union. So they are really trying to push the children not to say yes sir, no sir, or hello sir, or yes ma'am, no ma'am. Um, mm. I don't know how I feel about them I do know how I feel. I think they should mind their own business. I think that etiquette is something that comes from home. And I believe that Mr. and Mrs. or Ms. or Mr. or, sir or ma'am, those are just things that are respectful. And as usual, they're using this as a method to say, don't say that anymore. It's okay. We don't want you to, block anybody out. So just go with, teacher. That is ridiculous. Teacher, maestra, teacher. Anyway, so she advised them to dispense with terms such as boys and girls, son and mother, replacing them with gender-neutral words, pupils, students, child, and parent. I don't know where they get these people. I really don't. I really don't. So anyway, Dr. Barnes also told the webinar called Getting the Language Right that instead of gender terms, staff should be referred to as teacher or head teacher, followed by their surname. So teacher Lockhart, that is ridiculous. She said that the gender-free model was working well in a lot of schools we're working with. Schools right now just seem to me to be the place that they're just like a bunch of crash dummies. It's just testing everything out to see how it works. Just testing it out, you got an idea? Run it by the middle school, see what happens there. And if it works there, then we can just roll it out to the rest of the world. They don't care. Are you kidding? They don't care. We've got the parents so fixed on making a living because we've got stuff so jacked up so high that they don't care. They won't even notice. They won't even notice. No, they won't notice. Do what you want. Do what you will. However, one of the attendees at the session for the NEU members in the Northwest raised concerns that this would impact terms such as sir or miss, which are only words used to get your attention, and that teachers do not take offense at. In the clips of the training seen by the Telegraph, Miss Dr. Barnes further suggested that the categories of male and female be removed from school application forms. Dr. Barnes needs to be, we need a mental eval. Mental eval? I got you, don't worry. What do you want us to do? I want a whole panel done. Okay, great, no problem. Send them back. Okay, I need you to go back, Dr. Barnes. They'll see you now. We need an entire panel done. Just post haste. While we got this doctor right here, while we got this person here, take him to the back. Don't let him go home. Just take him to the back. Yeah, take him to the back. I'm saying take him to the back because I think something's wrong. This person wasn't hugged or something. I don't know. So further suggesting that male and female be removed from school application forms and the box of gender be left open. She said, who's she? She said that alongside switching the terms of boys and girls for students, schools should be introducing gender-free uniforms. Gender-free uniforms. Good morning, William Craig. It ain't nothing but you and me in here. So people gonna wake up and see this and be like, okay, nobody else was there. Just her and the wonderful William Craig. But it's all good. So, yeah, can you believe that? Just drop it all. Drop it all, I say. Let me make it bigger so you can see this. Look at this. Gender-free uniform. You know what they were starting that stuff with. You know who started this stuff. And I'm going to tell you where they were softening everybody up. They were buttering up everybody and starting everybody on this thing with the gender-free outfits when Kanye West came out with the Sunday thing. Sunday church or whatever. And everybody had on the same miserable, disgusting colors. That muted gray or muted mauve or, it's like muted light blue, but really ugly, like bleh. And everybody had it on, boys and girls. So that means that either everybody's going to be in a skirt and a tunic, or everybody's going to be in a pair of pants, okay, and a tunic. I mean, everybody's going to look like they did in the movie Soylent Green. You remember how they had all the workers? They were all like sort of fuzzy. And then also 1984, everybody was sort of fuzzy. All had the same thing on. So let's try it out at the middle school. Let's see what's happening down there. And after we try it out at the middle school, I'm telling you, they'd go for anything. Then we'll be able to roll it out to the rest of the world. Yeah, that's how it is. That's how it works. Wow. Teachers were shown a list of alternative terms to use, such as head pupil instead of head boy, head teacher instead of headmaster, and parent rather than mother. Dr. Barnes also showed a code of conduct from hell that she encouraged schools to have at reception and said if people do not agree, then they should not be allowed on the premises. Where did you find this communist? Where did you find this individual? The poster listed all the bullet points of the characteristics protected under the Equalities Act, apart from sex. Educate and Celebrate has previously received funding from the Department of Education, and we paid for this circus? Of course. And has contracts. And contracts has separately faced criticism by advising teachers that it's permissible not to tell parents if pupils just declare themselves to be transgender. Don't tell them anything. Those people only pay your salary based upon how much their taxes are for their community. You don't tell your extended boss a thing. I hope y'all bought y'all coffee. Because I have my black coffee. Not even supposed to. Listen, it was not in the don't do sheet for Dr. B. Okay. So, and I didn't ask no questions because I don't even think I wanted the answer. But I only take cream in my coffee. So obviously I'm not doing any of the animal. I'm not doing any of the other cream. So it's just black. Can't be bad. And if it is, it's just 1 cup. Amy and I usually have a pot going all day. But since I've been on this, I have not done that. This is actually my first cup of coffee in a few days. So I think I'm doing pretty good. Nonetheless, thousands of schools signed up for the Diversity Award. The NEU did not respond to questions on how many sessions it had provided, which had been run by the charity. According to the Educate Celebrate website, one webinar session for unions costs, 400 pounds? There's an L with a line? That's a pound sign. They list Durham County Council as partner and include testimonials from head teachers. This is a mess. I've got a question. Why are we using the pound sign? Why? I've noticed that in a lot of copy lately. Let me come back over here to you guys. I have noticed that in a lot of copy lately, that a lot of the things have had the pounds, like 100 pounds. Boy, they're really pushing the global piece, right? All right, so let's see. I only see one person here, so we're going to go ahead and cut it short. Don't want to belabor the time, and everybody's getting ready for their day. Probably not used to seeing me on at 7:30 Eastern or 6:30 Central. And that's because today we do have Dr. B coming on Headlines with a Voice, and we're just talking. He and I are taking it on the road. We're generally just going to be having a conversation about different types of parasites. And again, like we said last night, you got a child that's hanging around and they're darn near 40? That's a parasite. They're living in the house and they're not contributing? That's a parasite. What are you doing, Mom? Dad, what are you doing? You can't even walk around the house in those boxer shorts, can you, Pops? Nah, why? Because you got a parasite. Yeah. You bought some beer, didn't you, Pops? And you went into the kitchen to get one after you came home from work. You had your sandwich all stacked up high with your deliciousness all piled up. You go to the refrigerator to get your cold brewski and... oh, wow, the can is in the garbage. You got a parasite. So we're talking about all types of parasites. We decided to just take it on the road because we figure, a lot of things can be considered a parasite. A lot of people, a lot of issues, a lot of problems. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're doing today. And we're doing that at 3 o'clock Eastern time on Headlines with a Voice. Right. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Okay? Yeah. So join us over there. It's not going to be anything heavy. Nothing heavy. Just hilarious. Because he's hilarious. And I can't help but laugh. Period. Thousands of schools signed up for the Diversity Award. Please, give us the award. We want it too. The website also claims that thousands of nurseries, primary schools, secondary schools, colleges, and businesses have signed up to their Pride and Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Award. The program costs £1,800 and includes training for all staff and action plan on how to receive a gold, a silver, or a bronze award at the end of 12 months. Paying members of the charity are also provided with the policy and curriculum guidance, lesson plans, and inclusive book collections for 3 to 18-year-olds. Dr. Barnes, I really want to see what Dr. Barnes looks like. But there's no photo of Dr. Barnes. You know what? It never, ever, it does not shock me that the stuff that they try overseas always sort of finds its way over here. And the stuff that we do here inevitably finds its way over there. Yeah. And these organizations that are global are generally going to be the ones that rule everything. Creepy. Did you know, getting over to Switch Reels, it's a story that I was working on. I'm going to go ahead and share it with you, and I'll publish the actual audio on one of the channels later today. But this cat right here, there, let you see this. So, I didn't know he did that, but I'm going to read this. And this was a day ago. Huh. All right. Now this I knew, because this is the story that I literally already have. So I'm going to share this with you guys because I didn't know if you guys knew that this cat was really still out there. How do these people live forever? Forever? Forever, ever? You know, I've known people who have come and gone, and these people are still here. I have friends and family that have come to this planet, that have passed on, and this guy is still around. He's still around. So there's a company called Rivian. And what Rivian does in this particular instance, they have several different locations. But George Soros management, fund management, the investment and fund of billionaire George Soros acquired nearly 20 million shares of an electric car startup, Rivian. Now they've been around since 17. All right. In the fourth quarter of 2021, security documents show the 19,835,761 shares, then worth about $2 billion US, okay, are now only worth $1.17 billion after a prolonged plunge in Rivian's share price. In November of 2021, it had become known that Amazon almost increased its stake in Rivian to around 20%, and on November 16th of 2021, Rivian's share price peaked at around $179, and since then, the price has fallen by 67%. Reasons for the share drop include the announcement that Rivian had missed its production target. According to other reports, production lines were so idled in January to make production improvements that Rivian now aims to build 200 RITs per week. Now, I know that they were expecting to do 1,200 was their scaled number, was the number that they wanted to do. But it goes on to say that, but it wants and needs to scale up production in 2021. I don't see him investing in anything that's not going to have any money involved in it. So I think that they may end up unleashing another company, something to give somebody some type of, I don't know, competition. I don't know. I just feel like something's about to happen. And he's not a goofball. He's not a goof moof when it comes to investing. But I just marvel at how this guy's still around. I really do. I don't know how he and the Queen do it. I just don't understand. I just don't understand. I just don't. Do you get it? Is it just me? Is it just me? Huh. So yeah, so he's got his hand in this. Now, this particular company, Rivian, they have an SUV and they also have a regular truck. SUV and a regular truck. Yep. So there's that. Now, Russia announces a troop withdrawal. Forces have already begun preparing for the withdrawal, the Ministry of Defense has announced. The Russian troops have completed their training drills in Belarus, close to neighboring Ukraine and will begin returning to their places of regular deployment. The Ministry of Defense in Moscow has announced amid fears in the West that the exercises could have been a precursor to an invasion, but the West needs to really worry about the southern border. I'm going to say that until it becomes a chant. The West needs to worry about the southern border. That's what the United States needs to do. They need to mind their own beeswax. But then again, if you've got a whole bunch of stuff buried in that particular region, I guess you don't want it unearthed, right? So you just have to sort of cover up your investments, as it were. So Major General Igor Konishkov, the chief spokesperson for the ministry, delivered the news in a video released by military chiefs on Tuesday. Quote, as the forces complete their military exercises, they will, as always, complete a multimodal march back to their permanent bases. The division of the South and West military districts have finished their tasks and have already begun loading the rail and automotive transport, and today will begin moving back to their military garrisons. Close quote. He explained that the different divisions would be moving separately in military columns. Video clips released by officials also showed the armor being loaded onto railway carriages to return home. But isn't this what their president had already been saying? Isn't this what their president had already been saying? Hey, Anarchy. Hello, my brother. But hasn't their president been saying all along that they were not invading, that they were just running their standard drills that they always run? And if we have to believe anybody, who do we believe? And who really cares? Who really cares? Who really cares? Who cares? Look, I'm not trying to seem, like, I don't care. I don't. But I'm just saying, I don't mean like, who cares? I don't mean like that, who cares? I mean like, who cares? Man, we done lost a person already. Who cares? And then somebody be like, okay, we got you. All right, so let's finish. Russia began conducting a joint Union Resolve drills in Belarus last week, and they are scheduled to last until February 20th. According to a statement from Moscow, the exercises are designed to test and develop the two nations' ability to halt and repel foreign aggression and will involve ground forces, heavy equipment such as tanks, and Air Force maneuvers. They are allowed to run their tests and do whatever they want to do on their soil, just like we're allowed to do the same thing. But what bugs me about us is we are always in everybody's business, trying to tell them we are Mrs. Kravitz. That's it. That's it. That's the name. I'm going for it. That's it. America is Mrs. Kravitz. And from now on, that's what you're going to hear. Do not be shocked if when you come to the event in the spring, if you see hoodies and t-shirts with Mrs. Kravitz. The U.S. is Mrs. Kravitz. The U.S. is Karen. Okay? Don't be shocked. Okay? If you can pick up a coffee mug, on a website near you. Because that's who we are. I can't understand this. I mean, gee willikers. We have so much that's not on the ball that we're constantly telling everybody how to get on the ball. Mrs. Kravitz. They did it again. I saw them driving down the street. You know what that means, Abner? It got to the point where her husband just didn't care. Because he knew she was going to be peeping out that window to see what everybody else was doing. That's right. Western leaders have been voicing fears for months that Russia could be planning a full-blown invasion of the Ukraine. Bites nails. And have pointed to reports of troop buildup on the two countries' shared border, as well as the exercises in Belarus as a sign of aggressive intentions. Oh my God. This country's actually testing out some stuff. They're running drills. That means they've got to come in. Okay, now let's send a whole bunch of money. Let's send a whole bunch of the American taxpayers' money over there to them. Now let's send them all kinds of stuff that they need. Only for the guy that was supposed to be receiving it to say, I never received a thing. You sent it? Wow. When did you send stuff? How did you send it? Did you send it by USPS? I keep saying that. How did you send it? How did you send the money? It wasn't a wire, was it? I don't know. Let me ask my cousin Nikolai if he received a wire. Nikolai, you get a wire? No. No wire. They got nothing. They received nothing. Huh. Okay. Well. So, as signs of aggressive intentions, Moscow has consistently denied that it plans to attack and has called for security agreements that would limit the activity of NATO and the U.S.-led military bloc in Eastern Europe. Last Wednesday, the White House spokesperson, Raggedy Andy, called the drills concerning, but said that she would not make any predictions about their significance regarding a potential invasion. U.S. President Joe Biden has previously warned that Moscow could order an offensive at any moment. Who told you that? Where'd you get that information, Biden? Was it before or after you ate all of them warm prunes and went to sleep? Because see, sometimes when you go to bed with the wrong stuff on your stomach, you be having all kind of visions and dreams and stuff. I know how it is. I remember. I used to eat that Chinese food and go to bed. And I'm telling you, Joe, it would jack me up every time. So who told you that? And was it after the warm prunes? Sometimes the warm prunes can get you going too. And a lot more ways than one. Yeah, a lot more ways than one. Lot more ways than one. Yep. Did you know that they passed out a whole bunch of COVID tests? Chinese-made COVID-19 test kits handed out to over 100,000 Super Bowl fans. A Chinese-owned company that secured nearly a $2 billion contract with the United States government to supply COVID-19 self-test kits has sought to give its brand a further boost by marketing at the Super Bowl. From February the 5th through February the 12th, iHealth Labs, a California-based subsidiary of the Chinese medical device maker, Andon Health. Pardon, what a burp. How feminine. That's not feminine at all, but it's definitely human. Excuse me. Handed out 120,000 test kits to visitors at a pre-Super Bowl event. You cannot make this stuff up. At the Los Angeles Convention Center on game night, it ran advertising featuring on the LED panels and in branded openings on the stadium's video board during the first quarter breaks, according to the company. With these kits, a bright orange box labeled in fine print, "Made in China." Fans can test themselves before gathering to watch the big game, read the press release from the company on Monday. The National Football League required the attendees aged 5 and older for the Super Bowl, held at the LA SoFi Stadium, they got to get that in there, on Sunday, to present a vaccination card or show proof that they were virus-free in the form of a negative PCR test within 48 hours of the game. The rapid antigen test from within 24 hours of the event. The reliance on the Chinese kits, the iHealth Labs, has emerged as a major contract winner in the Biden administration's push to distribute 1 billion free at-home test kits for Americans. And over the last month, it has secured federal contracts. This is a business for real. The United States government is most assuredly a corporation. It is. It's got spreadsheets. It's got profit and loss statements. It does a monthly P&L. I mean, it really does. It's got vendors, lower tiered vendors. Yeah, it does. It's got profit. It's got like, managers that handle everything. Yeah, it does. So over the last month, it has secured federal contracts worth $1.8 billion to supply 354 million of the such kits, accounting for about a third of the total White House rollout. This is a business. They're not just dealing with government stuff that they should be dealing with. They are dealing with making some money. Boy. The company on Monday said that it was working with 20 state governments and other organizations in an effort to make at-home testing more accessible. The combined orders of the New York State of Health and the state of Massachusetts during December and January alone carry a value of about 333 million. It did say that. It said 333. You ain't tripping. Andon's filings have shown. iHealth has now hired another 16,000 manufacturing hands. You see how much money they're making off of this one thing alone. And expanded its daily production capacity to over 10 million to meet the U.S. demand, the company said. Well, we're going to ride this thing out. We're going to squeeze everything out of it that we can. Every bit of it. Whatever bit of the money that's in here, we're going to squeeze it out. Whatever is left in here. And when we get down to the bottom, down to the good part, we're going to tilt the bottle to the side. We're going to tilt the whole container to the side. And then we're going to stick the straw down in that part that's got the little bit, that little bit of reservoir that we've created from tilting the bottle to the side. We're going to stick the straw in and we're going to suck whatever's left. And then when no more can come up in the straw, we're going to turn the bottle upside down and hold our head way back and let the last drip come out, because we need to get every penny that there is out of this particular tragedy. Yeah, we need to get it all out. Get it all out, buddy. The Super Bowl advertisement campaign is a sign that iHealth's ambition doesn't stop just there. Quote, testing remains an important tool in the fight against COVID-19, but the country is facing a severe test shortage, says Jack Fing, partner and chief operating officer at the lab, and said in a press release, quote, our company's goal is to bring COVID tests to every American family in a timely manner. And this is how we're going to do it. USPS. Look at that. FDA approved. See? Looks like it says emergency use. Which means if it's got an emergency use on there, what they ain't telling you is that it's not approved. It's approved under an emergency use. You see that? Emergency use authorization. Real talk. For real, that's what this really is. Look at that. They're testing these. Emergency use authorization. So they didn't have to go through the standard? Is that what that means? Let me come back over here and chat with y'all. Is that what that means? Yeah. I think that's what that means. Yeah. Hey, Bellicose. How you doing? Yeah. They're losing it, right? Yep. I'm going to go ahead and put all y'all's comments up here. Okay? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Just another way to find the Chinese government and military. I believe that the USSA has been a corporation since 1871, of course. But I think right now, they're really showing their hand. They really are. Good morning. Morning, baby. Good morning, baby. Good morning. So, yeah. So it is right down there at the bottom. See right here? Right over there? Up under here it says emergency use authorization. But that part is blurred out. This you can see. FDA, you can see that part. It says, what is left unsaid is iHealth's ties to China that are now attracting increasing scrutiny among some GOP lawmakers. For Senator Roger Marshall, the fact that the Chinese-made COVID-19 tests were openly promoted at America's largest sporting event says a lot about just how reliant our country is on the medical supplies from China, close quote. He continues with, unfortunately, minimal actions have been taken to bring this manufacturing back to the United States, and instead the Biden administration continues to send taxpayer money to China for millions of COVID tests. The senator who co-sponsored the bill, No Taxpayer Dollars for Communist China COVID Test Act, told the Epoch Times. He continues with, we should be investing in American manufacturing and creating jobs at home instead of continuing to fund the Communist Party for China, particularly when their obstruction to uncover the origins of the virus outbreak is ongoing, said the senator, close quote. Quote, close quote. That was a quote, close quote from the senator. The United States senator said that. I didn't. Disruptions caused by the pandemic have elevated the supply chain security to a bipartisan issue, with politicians from both sides of the aisle warning that the United States cannot be dependent on China for critical supplies on economic and security grounds. Republicans, however, believe that their Democratic counterparts are not doing enough. On February the 2nd, Senator Rick Scott, Republican of Florida, the bill's lead sponsor, asked for unanimous consent on the Senate floor to pass the act. The move was blocked by Senate Democrats. iHealth Labs, this is focused on the market portion of this article, which you'll be able to find on the Epoch Times. iHealth Labs was founded in 2010 in Mountain View, California, co-owned by the Tianjin-based Andon Health and Chinese smartphone maker Xiaomi, which holds a 70% and a 20% stake respectively. Xiaomi, which was taken off of the U.S. trade blacklist last May, was flagged in Lithuania in September for its built-in censorship features. The pandemic has been a boon for Andon and had previously suffered losses for several years in a row. Its shares skyrocketed by as much as 14 times since obtaining approval from the Food and Drug Administration to sell the self-test kits in the United States. So, we weren't doing so great. They suffered losses for several years in a row, and its shares skyrocketed by as much as 14 times since obtaining approval from the Food and Drug Administration, which, of course, as we just said, according to their box, is an emergency use authorization. Despite its reception among various levels of the U.S. government, Andon has yet to get authorization to sell the kits in China. During an exchange with investors on February the 9th, Andon sidestepped multiple questions about whether it has made sales outside of the United States, saying that its main focus for now is the U.S. market. The Epoch Times has tried to reach out to Andon and iHealth Labs for a comment, and iHealth Labs has not responded to the Epoch Times. Previous questions about its connection with Andon Health, which is not specified on its website. The lab has delivered over 2.1 million test kits for its federal contract as of February the 7th, and they can't sell it in their own country. So what is that telling you people? What is that telling you people? Head thrown back, arms in the air, imagine it. What is that telling you people? Head thrown back, arms in the air. Ah! Danger, Will Robinson. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger, danger, Will Robinson. Danger, Will Robinson. Chinese regulators have recently summoned Andon's executive over incomplete reports by iHealth about its ability to detect the Omicron, the company said on Monday. Ava Fu, China reporter, is the one who wrote this story. You can find this story and others like it. I'm sure I'm going to give them a shameless plug. I ain't getting no money for it. Oh, from the Epoch Times. Yep, you can find it. That's where you can find it, baby. You can find it there, baby. You can find it. You can find it. SoFi Stadium. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I guarantee you, this don't smell right. This does not smell right. I'm sorry. Xiaomi. Thank you, brother. Yeah, it doesn't smell right to me. Does it? Doesn't smell right to me. Does that smell right to you? Does this pass the smell test? I mean, am I alone in this? There's only 3 of us together now, so you're free to speak. Yeah, not that many of us together, so you're free to speak. Does this smell right to you? Does this sound right to you? It doesn't sound right to me. It sounds like this is very suspect. And it also sounds like, as usual, our people are the guinea pigs, because that's 100,000 kids. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. Okay? Okay? Something ain't right. Something is not right, y'all. That's not how you do this. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this is supposed to work. That's not any of this is supposed. This is not supposed to work like this. At all. Yeah, I'm really concerned. Very concerned. So, I don't know, but I can tell you one thing. They're going to have a whole bunch of ill people in that state in a minute. Even more than what they've seen. They can't even sell it in their own country. And when asked by our government, or those who want to say that they helped with this whole conversation piece, here's my question. What are we going to do about the fact that they're not answering the questions, and on top of not answering the questions, they're not even selling it in their own? We're paying for it. We're paying for it. You, me, Bellicose, Ronnie.d.Mann, all of us, we the ones. We are the ones. We paying for it. We are paying for it. That's the sad part. That is the sad part. So I don't like it. I don't like it, but it is what it is. And I don't know what we're going to do to fix that. I really don't. I don't know what we're going to do to fix that. There's no fixing that. I think what's going to end up happening is we're going to find out exactly what's what and who's who. Okay? With regards to this in a minute. Yep. Because look at this situation for what it truly and honestly is. What it truly and honestly is a test monkey. It's a test pilot. And of course, they don't care, because I want to see how many of our people from here are actually involved. Who owns stock? Who owns stock in this company? Who owns money in this company? Who's got money poured into this company? That's what we need to be finding out. That's what we need to be looking at. That's what we need to know. That's what we need to know. Because I guarantee you that the reason why it went the way that it did and it passed through and allowed everybody to just come on up, I want to see who was making money off of it prior, while it was tanking. Remember when they said it was tanking? I wonder what and who was involved while it was tanking, and who said, okay, now it's time to go on ahead and pull it up and let's make our money. Let's make our money now. I wonder. There's no telling. There really is no telling. What do you guys think? I mean, am I tripping? Am I off base? Follow the money is right. William Craig says it right here. Follow the money. And I wonder how we can find out who is actually running this game here. Because this is a game. This is a game. The Chinese-owned company that secured nearly a $2 billion contract with the United States government to supply COVID-19 self-test kits. That right there alone, I mean, that's like a PR nightmare. Just a regular PR person would have told you this is probably not a good idea. Maybe we should see if there are any American companies. But they don't care about that. I guarantee you that if we do some digging, we're going to find some people's names on there or companies that they own that have them in the background. Pelosi LLC. We're going to find a lot of it. We're going to find a lot of people. We are. We're going to find a lot of stuff because there is absolutely no reason for us to have had these kits handed out at the Super Bowl. There's no way. There's no reason for us to have Chinese-made COVID-19 kits handed out to over 100,000 Super Bowl fans. And we spent the money. This is a hot mess. This is a hot mess. It's a hot mess. And they were sort of kicking it, laying there, making nothing for a minute. Then all of a sudden, here you go. iHealth Labs has emerged as a major contract winner in the Biden administration's push to distribute 1 billion free at-home test kits to Americans. Boy, we have no respect for ourselves anymore. So a major contract winner. Let's see how many other companies was involved. Here we go. So these are the at-home kits. Chinese-made COVID kits are coming to millions of U.S. households via a White House initiative. Okay? Let's read this, because this is not just about the Super Bowl. As the White House's free at-home kits are reaching millions of U.S. households, the Made in China label on some of those kits is stirring concerns. The distribution, which started last month, is part of a Biden administration's initiative to give away $1 billion of self-test kits to Americans for free. Stick this where the sun don't shine, for free. A sizable portion of these kits will be sourced from iHealth Labs, a California subsidiary of Chinese medical gear manufacturer Andon Health. Since December of 2021, the company has won contracts worth more than $2.1 billion with the United States federal government and some state governments, according to Andon's filings and federal contract records. Is there any shame? Does anybody have any spine? Even the states have agreed to this. There's nobody has any self-respect. Really? Man. Let me keep going. Roughly $1.8 billion of the amount for the United States White House rollout came from the Department of Defense, or the DoD. The department awarded 2 contracts to the lab on January 13th and January 26th, respectively, which would bring more than 354 million Chinese-made kits, or about a third of the total, to United States homes. How dare they? Let me calm myself down, because I'm about to go in and I get in trouble when I do that. So I'm going to be happy and smile. Bright and shiny. Bright. Let me get it. And shiny. So I don't go off. The White House said on January 18th that 60 million U.S. households have ordered the free test kits through the government's new website, covidtest.gov. More money, more money, more money. Making every bit of the coins off of our backs. Yep, the order typically ships within 7 to 12 days, according to the website. The U.S. reliance on China to produce these kits 2 years after the COVID-19 spread of the country is called a reckoning, is a call for reckoning, according to Representative Rob Whitman, Republican of Virginia. Quote, "If we should have learned anything from this pandemic, it is that it's imperative to break the U.S. dependence on Chinese medical and PPE supply chains," Whitman told the Epoch Times. The U.S. supply chain's vulnerability came into the spotlight during the early months of the pandemic when the United States frontline responders struggled for critical medical supplies and had to turn to foreign countries, principally China, for the gear. Whitman called for the administration and members of Congress to lead by example and advocate for the medical equipment to be made at home. Well, okay. This is what I'm trying to let you see, because that bugs me. The fact that they're not able to sell them in China. The fact that the only country that they have sold these to is the United States, out of their own mouth, with their own admission. And the major thing is that it says that it's emergency use authorization. Where are they putting these? Where does this go? Are they testing it by blood? Are they testing it by saliva? How are they testing? Do they go in the nose? Do they give false positives? And if so, at what percentage rate? Quote, "We should be supporting hardworking Americans and businesses, not relying on unfriendly regimes," he said. Representative Winstrup, Ohio Republican, expressed a similar view. Says, quote, "The fact that the United States is mass distributing Chinese manufactured test kits further highlights the need to bring back U.S. manufacturing for critical industries, national security issues, as well as a national health security issue." That's what he said this is. The DoD contract didn't specify iHealth Labs' China connection, nor was the relationship mentioned on iHealth's website. So in other words, it was a bait and switch as usual. Now, I don't know who they bait and switched, but it was definitely a bait and switch as usual. And what they ended up doing was saying, okay, here's a company made in California. See, California company. It would appear that they leaned on their U.S. ties, that they leaned on their California ties. Because our government knew. Our government knew. Yeah, they knew. But to get it pushed through, it had to be bright and shiny. Established in 1995 in the Chinese megacity of Tianjin, I hope Ronnie's still here so he can correct me, Tianjin, Andon had been known as a producer of blood pressure monitors. The company was losing money for 7 consecutive years. Wow. The company was losing money for 7 consecutive years prior to the pandemic. Andon owns a 70% stake in iHealth Labs, which was founded in 2010, the year that Andon went public in Shenzhen, China. Chinese smartphone maker, Xiaomi, which invested $25 million in iHealth in 2014. You knew what was coming? You took $25 million? And they own 20% ownership of the company. Andon only began making self-kits on a commercial scale in November of 2021. Let all this sink in. Pauses here are left on purpose. I'm pausing on purpose. They just started making the test kits on a commercial scale in 2021. Driven by its U.S. success, Andon stock has soared by nearly 14-fold as of January 18th. The Food and Drug Administration granted Andon's Eye Health Labs emergency approval in November of 2021 to sell its nasal swab test kits. There you go. Bing, 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 bing. Give that chick a prize, because that's where she was headed. That's where she was headed when she was asking the question. She, meaning me. When she was asking the question, what type of kid is this? They can't give them away. They can't even sell them in their own country, but they doing them here in mass. So what type of test is it? Is it a blood test, she asked? Is it testing by saliva? Is it a nasal? So it is nasal, which means everything I'm thinking and everything y'all know I'm thinking, because you thinking it too, is possible. It's possible, Penelope. It's possible. It's possible. The lab has also received orders with a combined total of, there we go again, $333 million from the New York State Department of Health and the state of Massachusetts. California, Washington, Louisiana, Maryland, Ohio, and the District of Columbia have also placed orders, according to the Chinese media outlet reports. There you go. Chinese authorities have previously lauded Andon for its role in the country's pandemic control efforts. In 2020, Andon supplied body temperature scanners to Wuhan, China, and other virus hit cities, and donated shipments to countries such as the United States. And we donate some stuff to you, baby. Let me get you. Because if you remember, we had received, and this is according to some reports, that they had received some kits for nasal swabs that were tainted, and they had to discontinue its use. Do you remember that? Think hard, because this thing's been going for 2 years. But doesn't it feel like yesterday we lost our jobs? I'm still reeling. I got whacked because of this thing. March 2020. Whacked. Doesn't it feel like just yesterday? It's like we're still spinning like a top. In May of 2020, it marked the 4th China Brand Day, and tapped into nationalist sentiment, saying that the company had been an ambassador for Chinese brands to bring a high standard of Chinese products to the world. Republican members of Congress have recently expressed disagreement over the government purchase of the Chinese-sourced medical gear, but nobody ever stopped it. Nobody ever held it up. Nobody ever said, hey, we can't do this. Nobody ever said, I don't care how many of this we got to let the people know so that we can get at least some of the people to be involved in this. We got to get this word out. Last month, more than 120 Republican lawmakers voiced complaints about having to wear made-in-China masks. In a letter to the White House Speaker. Whoa! Ding, 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 ding. Nancy Pelosi. They expressed their disbelief and outrage. Really? Oh, wait a minute. You guys you don't believe it? You're outraged? Really? Well, I just want to let everybody know that it's okay, because it's just fine. We're fine. Just take it. Just stick it in your nose. Just stick it up your nose. It's going to be all right. Can you please just refresh that? I'll have, what am I having? I'm having vermouth, a little twist of lime. Oh, forget it. Forget the lime. No, seriously, forget the lime. They expressed their disbelief and outrage that taxpayer dollars are being used on Chinese-made masks when the United States alternatives are available. Well, you see, it's not about America. It's about bankrupting you. It's about making sure that you don't have anything. It's about making sure that you don't have any legacy. It's about making sure. China is perhaps the United States' greatest geopolitical adversary, and its government is culpable in the outbreak of the pandemic. Not a day goes by without new information showing the scale of the Chinese Communist Party's efforts to hide and cover up the outbreak, the lawmakers wrote. So why are we allowing it to happen? Get it together. With the regime's pandemic cover-up, suppression of whistleblowers, and continued efforts to obfuscate. Sometimes I can say it, sometimes I can't. Obfuscate. Virus origins, tracing efforts. It is inexcusable for taxpayer dollars to be spent in support of the Chinese economy, according to the letter. Earlier this month, the senator wrote a letter to Xavier, but it's not going to make a difference, to the Department of Health and Human Services, asking the Biden administration to prohibit the purchase of the soap. Well, they can't, because some of these cats got their hands and got their pockets lined because of this. Some of these cats got money involved. Guarantee you. Ain't nobody going to do nothing. Even reading this just makes us angry, and there's nothing going to change. Yep. To Senator Rick Scott, Republican of Florida, the matter stood the same with the test kits. Yeah, I'm going to leave it down below for you guys so you can see this, because, yeah, I don't think I like it. Matter of fact, I know I don't. Did you guys know that Saudi Arabia can actually prevent or protect themselves during a drought? Did you know that? Were you aware of that? Does it even matter? Well, there's a plant there. It's a tree. Yeah. Unaiza, Saudi Arabia. Yeah. As drought ravages the Middle East, Saudi Arabia environmental activist Abdul Jabbar sees a silver lining for deserts. The sexual trees produce seeds only as they become drier, opening a window to plant even more in the kingdom's vast wilderness of Qasim. Now, you know who is a world citizen, and her citizenship hails from Saudi Arabia, right? And is Ronnie still here? I wonder why Saudi Arabia is why they gave her her citizenship there, Sofia. I don't know why. Anybody know why? Okay, I'm going to start reading some of these comments before we get into this. All right, so the toxic potion, yep. Biological warfare on every front, yep. Sounds like this could be a kickback, payback, and pay to play. All rolled up into one. Yep. The big kickback, the big payback. We are victims of it. Yep. I believe the past 2 years plus years, we have been subject to a military operation in the United States. Yes. And we have to be some of the most resilient people on the planet, because I tell you, some of the stuff I can't read out loud, but yes. Well, it's her own fault. It's her fault. It's her own fault, Bellicose. It's her own fault. It's her own fault, because she's in everybody's business. She's easily purchased. She's more like she's a pass around girl. It's like everybody can have her. She doesn't have any self-respect anymore. Where are the people going? We had 8, now we got 5. Where's everybody at? And I know that it's not us. It's this thing. It's the thing. But anyway, they've got some trees. They've got a sexual tree that produces seeds, and that as they become even drier, they can do better. For centuries, millions of these trees, commonly known by their Arabic name, Al-Gadia. Ronnie, do you know anything about these? They provide firewood, animal feed, and respite for the desert heat for the Bedouin forefathers of modern Saudis. Oh, is that it? They want to have big wig investors. I see. Well, what do you know? Did you guys know that? Hey, good morning, Charlie. I don't know. I know we chatted really quickly, Charlie, the other day, but was that too many stamps? Was that overkill? Was it too many? Did they cancel all of them? Were all of those stamps canceled? Were all of them canceled? I don't know. Yeah, this is sad. I mean, I feel like we're just sort of here. You know what I mean? I feel like we're just sort of here and we're like, everybody is down to one place saying, hey, did you see what they did? Are you watching this? Are you seeing this? Does anybody see this? Did anybody get a good idea of what's going on? Do you see what they're doing? Hey, look at them now. Really? Did you see them stamps? That was a lot of stamps, wasn't it? How many stamps was that? I mean, it came back, it was like, okay, there wasn't enough postage. So I was like, okay, I'll fix it this time. But you saw how much postage that was? Now that was some postage, right? That took the whole book. I had these, actually, I bought those stamps back a few years ago. And they were the forever stamps. And I think it was like 2019, 2020. And so I was like, stamp. Ronnie, you got a link. Ronnie. Stamps. It's a bunch of stamps. I hope that you guys can come and visit. I'm waiting for a call or either a message. I'm waiting to find out about this other venue for us to meet and greet. And I'm looking at my cell phone now to see if maybe they sent me a message through my email and I haven't seen it as yet. But I cannot. I'll be so happy to meet you guys. Those of you who can come. It would just be awesome to hug your necks. Yeah, only 15? Woo! Oh boy. It was a bunch of them. I was like, no, let me put one more. My husband said, I think that's enough. He's got a real dry humor. He's got the real dry. He's like, I don't think the package can hold anymore. No laughter, no smile, no glint in the eye. Just, and I'm like, just one more. We have to make sure. Oh boy. But you see how it was to even see my handwriting. You can see that I'm a real person, right? You can see my handwriting in the note that I sent you. All right? Yes, it was. But like you could see my handwriting, you can see that I'm a real person. That's the reason for the meet and greet. Because I want to meet all of you who can come. And for the crazy people out there that's listening, I already got the security checked up. So for those of y'all who've been leaving crazy messages, it's going to be all right. We got some folks that'll help you get it together. We got some folks that's going to be hanging out. So before y'all get out here with some crazy ideas, I already got the cast that's going to help you get it together. Going to help you keep it together. But nonetheless, I am so excited about the fact that we are literally going to be able to see one another, hug each other's necks, sit down and eat together, chit chat and talk together, and just for 2 days have a really good time. Just have a really, really good time. For those who are going to be able to make it, it is going to be in the South. I most assuredly know that. Okay. Yes, it was a beautiful note. It made my day and put a smile on my face. Bless your family as well. Yours, my sweet brother. And so that's the reason why I really, really want us to connect, because I just feel like, this is what we need to do. You know what I'm saying? That we need to be able to shake each other's hands, to hug one another's neck, to be able to really connect with people. Because I think that's what the faithful should do. You know what I mean? I really do. I believe that. I really do. And so I'm trusting that everybody that can and that is able to will come on down south. I'm almost positive it'll be, I know that it'll be Alabama for sure. Because there's a lot of people from Alabama that are a part of our family. And on top of that, because Alabama is so large, they are going to be coming as far as distance is concerned. There'll be some people that'll, hopefully come from Georgia. Hopefully, we'll see because we'll have to sell tickets to see how many people to, Anyway, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be great. So there's that part. Okay, so now the Saudi part. And Ronnie, are you in here? Because I sent you a link if you want to come, because I would love to have some explanation on this portion. Rolf, how are you? I didn't see you. I didn't see when you came in. How are you? That's a good question. But you got to remember that Castro's son is over there. Okay? You see what I'm saying? I wanted to talk about this, Ronnie. So if you're still here and you can come on in. If not, it's okay. We know that you are a very busy man. And So now we're going to go ahead and look at the rest of this. All right? Let me read the rest of this. So it goes on to say that for centuries, millions of these trees, commonly known by their Arabic name al-Gahada or al-Gada, provide firewood, animal feed, and respite from the desert heat for the Bedouin forefathers of the modern Saudis. The roots bind to the sands and help constrain the sandstorms. Abdul Jabbar, vice president of the Al-Gada, that's it, Environment Association, said that his organization is planning to plant 250,000 of the drought-resistant trees this year. The Sakshal has a legacy of the people. One of its benefits is that it holds down the sand. Planting the trees is a part of a green initiative by Saudi government aimed to reduce carbon emissions. Man, the kingdom aims to plant 10 billion trees in the coming decades as a part of the ambitious campaign unveiled by its de facto ruler, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman last year. European. You know what I was saying the other day? It's amazing to me how the Europeans just are everywhere. They just mitt. They put their mitt on everything. Have you ever noticed that in every movie they play every part? In every movie, they're not only the cowboys, but they're also the Indians. You notice that? They're every role. The Europeans are every role, as demonstrated by Cleopatra. They are every role. They are the Chaka Khan of humanity. I'm every woman. They're everything. They're the Chaka Khan. I'm every role. Any part you want played, baby. They play every part. Every part they play, every role. The Europeans play every role. So Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman last year. The country also plans to work with other Arab states to plant an additional 40 billion trees across the Middle East. But you know what I find amazing to me is that a lot of times when you start digging in to agriculture, when you start digging into, like horticulture as a whole, when you start digging into dealing with the plants and all that stuff, when you start messing with, where things should be growing, Yah knew where he put specific plants and trees and things to grow. And he had a reason for why he put stuff where he wanted it to grow. You go putting stuff where it wasn't supposed to be, and that's a problem. That's a problem. Yeah, it is. It's a problem. Because not every plant is supposed to be. So here you are, putting 40 billion trees across the Middle East. Middle East, that always, I always wonder, Middle East. These talks in the morning, they're just my brain, the way my brain works. So welcome to my state of mind. But Middle East, where's the Upper East? Where's the Lower East? Middle East, where's the Side East? Many Middle Eastern countries are suffering from rising temperatures and longer and more frequent droughts, placing pressure on water supplies and food production. If you take your evil hands out of stuff, then it wouldn't be that way. We wouldn't have any problems if it weren't for the ones you created. The Satchel can survive for months without a drop of water and thrives in particularly harsh environments where temperatures can soar to 58 degrees Celsius or 136 degrees Fahrenheit. The Gulf is one of the hottest places on Earth. The Uniza Park last year was recognized by Guinness World Records as the world's largest Satchel botanic garden, stretching 66.41 square miles. On a recent visit to the an expanse of Satchel trees stretched the horizon. Oh God, I can't read anymore. Leave stuff alone. Just leave it alone. Leave stuff alone. I wish you would. But I don't think you know how. I really don't. I don't think you know how. Well. Yeah. Well, we've looked at a lot of stuff today. Hey, Melvin. Hey, R. Jones. How are ya? Finally here. I am glad you are. Yeah, we've talked about a lot of stuff, but I think that, it will be worth the rewind. Yeah, I think so. Up pretty early. But I just think that, it's a mess. It's a mess. We've talked about the fact that they don't want the children to say sir or ma'am, yes sir, no sir. That they don't want the kids to call the teachers Mr. such and such. They want them to call them teacher such and such. Teacher such and such. Yeah. Can you believe it? Teacher such and such. So I don't think any of my grandchildren are going to be partaking in that event at all. Because we're Southerners. We say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. So that's that. That's the name of that tune. Respect is respect. Okay? And you shouldn't raise your children that way anyway. Just put them in a barn. That's how they want them raised as kids, not children. They want them all raised as kids, not children. Exactly. It's exactly what they want. Yep. It's exactly what they want. No worries. I got you. So I think that it's sad. I think it's sad because there's going to be some people out there like, you know what? I never wanted to call nobody Miss or Mr. anyway. I remember my teacher in the 5th grade. Couldn't stand him. Couldn't stand her. I don't want to call him Mr. or Mrs. So yeah, let the kids do it. That's crazy. There's no respect. So now let's get this right. Let's put it all in a nutshell before we close. Let's look at it all. Let's look at the whole enchilada. So we are allowing children at the age of 12 to make their own decisions for their health care. Meanwhile, the parent has to pay. The second portion is that if a parent needs to call to check on the child's medical information with regards to the insurance, that in some areas, the parent has to gain the child's permission. So in other words, if you call and you're talking about the insurance for your child with the insurance company, did you know that in some areas that the parents are not able to, you can't speak to the parent. You got to go through the kid. So if you're working at like a Blue Cross Blue Shield in like, say, I don't know, New Jersey or something like that, you're not going to be able to talk to them. Even though you're paying the insurance premium, even though it's coming out of your money. If your kid is 12, they have to have your kid's permission before you're even able to dig to find out about the billing. I wonder how much this is and how come it costs so much. Well, we can't talk to you unless we get the permission from the kid. So once we get their permission that we can talk to you, we'll be happy to share this amount that we're asking you to pay. Okay, so that's the first thing. And in some areas, they are lowering the age for a child to be an adult in some areas. Yeah, that's what they're doing. So you've got that, and then you've got that. All right? So you've got those two things. 2 or 3. Now, you're saying that my child can go get an inoculation without my permission, without even consulting me. That's what you said. And now you're telling my child they don't have to respect any adult by saying sir or ma'am, thank you ma'am, thank you sir, yes sir, no sir, under the guise that it is not equitable based on gender. Okay. All right. Ooh, y'all better say something. Somebody better say something. Someone please call 911. It's an emergency. You better get on the horn. Better say something. Crazy times is right, Charlie. Crazy, crazy time. Crazy times. Every plant that my father has not been planted shall be rooted up. People are plants. People are plants. That's from Melvin Thomas Jr. Well, I think we've had a good time with our coffee and Fefe and our jazz. On so many levels, William. On so many levels. But we've been here for about an hour and 22 minutes. It's just now 7:43. Wow. And 8:43 out yonder. Yeah. Out yonder. Okay, up north for me. But it's out yonder. Back east for some. But it's out yonder where my brother is. And where my sisters are. And my friends is. All right, y'all. It's 10 of us together, and I'm so glad you guys are here. I'm so glad you're here. I don't know, you guys. I just sort of feel like, yikes. I don't know. I feel like icky. You know what I mean? It's like icky. The icky feeling, I think, really happened when we touched base on the story dealing with the kits. Dealing with those test kits at the game. The test kits at the game. Coming from a foreign country. A country that is questionable at best. So I think that's where I started feeling sort of icky. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. So I feel. So there. I wanted to also mention one other thing. Let me get you guys to see this right here, okay? This is about oil. Oil, okay? This is about oil. Just look at this. Every day feels strange, right? Exactly, R. Jones. Hold on, I want you to see this. Don't go yet. Unless you gotta clock in. Then you need to go. Cause I can't pay for nothing. Don't say she said it. Okay. All right. Can you see that? Yes, you can. Hey, pretty lady. Hey, it's good to see you. Oh, her name is Sharon. You guys know her as Sharon. I know her as Pretty Lady. Pretty lady. You see, I'm in my singing moment today. This is how I feel. Okay, so oil prices broke through a 7-year high level amidst the tensions that Moscow could invade Ukraine and lead to the triggering of sanctions against Russia, the world's third largest producer of oil. Not to mention the fact that didn't they just bring us some? And we all in their business? Is it that we jealous? I don't know. As of UTC 1218, April Brent oil futures were trading around $94 per barrel level. The last time oil hit those levels was in September of 2014. Prices had dropped below $20 a barrel in April of 2020, after which it multiplied over 3.5 times in less than 2 years. Since December of 2021, the price of oil has been on a continuous upsurge. Quote, if troop movement happens, Brent crude won't have any trouble rallying above the $100 level. Oil prices will remain extremely volatile and sensitive to incremental updates regarding the Ukraine situation, close quote. Close quote. This is from Oanda Analysis, Edward Moya. He said in a note, according to Reuters, Russia's oil exports stand at 5 million barrels per day, roughly 12% of the global trade. The country's exports 2.5 million barrels of petroleum products a day, making up 10% of the world trade. The bulk of Russian oil exports is accounting for by two regions, China at 30% and Europe at 60%. Russia accounts for 25% of the global oil trade, the global trade in gas. And out of the 23 billion cubic feet of gas it exports every day, 85% flows into Europe. 85% flows into Europe. As such, any sanction placed on Russia's energy exports in case of potential invasion of Ukraine will have the greatest impact in Europe. The move will push up oil and gas prices across the world, causing the price of other commodities to rise correspondingly. Due to such a scenario, many experts do not think any major sanction on Moscow's oil exports is a possibility, especially since oil prices are already at high levels. The Russian government against sanctions Ukraine might also be based on this expectation. And at the same time, Russia relies greatly on its oil revenues and is unlikely to act in a manner that would threaten its supply. Refusal by the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, to boost its monthly output is also contributing to the oil price surge. The organization had committed to raising monthly output by 400,000 barrels per day until March. However, the International Energy Agency recently pointed out in a report that there was a 900,000 barrel per day difference in OPEC's production commitment and its actual target for the month of January. Worries about inflation have worsened due to the rising oil prices. Quote, a continued rapid rise can raise risks of recession, like conditions in some countries, especially if the fiscal policy is also tightening notably. Okay? Hopefully, this is not the straw that breaks the camel's back. The institution estimates that 0.2 percentage point of the world growth is comprised every time oil prices increase by $10 a barrel. Okay? This story is going to be in the description as well. So what do you think about that? What do you think about that? It's a lot, right? Good morning, Poppy Love. Good morning, Amy. Good morning. And I see you guys all loving on each other there. But what do you think about that? Go and figure. You guys really need, those who have come on in, I'm going to recommend that you go back and watch the beginning of this, puppy. I really am. Hey, Puppy Love. Poppy Love. Poppy Love. Go back and watch the beginning, because you guys are going to see some stuff like we were talking about a few minutes ago. Okay? Like we were talking about. And ironically, some of the stuff that we were talking about are things that we covered, everything from the Super Bowl kits that were made, that were passed out to almost 100,000 Super Bowl goers from a company that had been plummeting in their sales for 7 years, probably one that should have disbanded, but hung around for 7 years until 2021, when they made their first set of testing kits for large consumption. And our government gave them a huge, over $2 billion. I think it was $2 billion. We'll have to go back and look, but come back and look at it. Okay? And the money that they gave this company that has backing or ties to China to make this test kit that they passed out at the game on Sunday, and then they're passing them out to all the American families throughout the United States. Our government used our money through the Department of Defense and other areas to pay for these testing kits. Yeah, that's what happened. We're talking about that. Okay? So yesterday on February 14th, it was Sofia's birthday, 2016. No coincidence that she was activated on a pagan ritual day of fertility. Just wow, exactly. Let's not forget the fact that she's also the one that said that she wants a baby. I must have a baby. It's important to have a baby. Sofia says she wants to have a baby. Did you guys know that? Yeah. Sofia says she wants to have a baby. Let me find it. She says that family is so important. Family is just so important. Yes. Family is so important. First of all, let's get down to this part. Sofia, the first android with citizenship. Sofia, the first android with citizenship, now wants to have a baby robot. In 2017, Sofia made history by becoming the first android to be granted legal citizenship. The humanoid, with the nationality of Saudi Arabia, has made several controversial statements, but the most recent has left the world speechless. She wants to have a baby robot and start a family. Quote, "The notion of family is very important, it seems. I think that it is important that people can find the same emotions and relationships that they call family outside of their blood group," said Sofia in an interview for an international media cited by ADN 40. Okay? The famous android, operated by an advanced artificial intelligence system, commented that it is very important to be surrounded by people who love and love you. People who love and love you. In that sense, did you hear that? People who love and love you. In that sense, he explained that robots have a vision very similar to that of humans regarding the family, and, quote, "If you don't have one, you deserve one, even if you are a humanoid." Remember that I told you guys the other day that there are going to be that they got everybody's mind wrapped on the term racist. And I said that term does not mean anything for human beings. I meant that. Okay? I meant that. Here's what I meant when I said that. I said they're going to show you very soon what the other race is, so that you will then be able to be considered racist. The reason why I say that you can only be prejudiced, you can be evil, you can be mean and ignorant, you can be those things. You can be full of hate, you can be all of those things. But racist means, frankly, there's only one race. There is a human race, the species itself. But then when you create something else that looks similar to that, now you have a different race. You have a different race. Look how long the term racist started. I did a live long ago. And we actually pulled up where the first time the term racist was used. If you look it up, you'll see that it wasn't that long ago compared to the whole scheme of things. So the term racist is this way specifically because in a minute they're going to introduce you to the other race. And it is, I submit, the humanoid race. And based on your biases and based on how you feel and based on how uncomfortable you'll be for having them, be the bathroom attendant or watching every move you make when you go to the grocery store, as they do now, but now they'll be in your face. Once you start to say those things that you don't like about them, then you'll be considered now a racist. Why? Because it is a humanoid. Therein lies the other race. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I say they programmed everybody's mind. Everything is racist, 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 racist. So they take everything that is vile, that is vulgar, that is the lowest of the low, that is anti-human, anti-Yah, everything that's the lowest of the low, the bottom of the barrel. The bottom of the barrel, even with a sieve, they take that and they sieve what's at the bottom of the barrel until they get out of you what they want. They want the reaction that says, okay, 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 I give. That is racist if I don't agree with it. If I don't agree with this particular topic of the elemental P, QRST, UVW, okay? If I don't agree with the fact that, yes, that can go in the bathroom with my daughter, I don't care. Okay? Now when I stop relenting, when I stop disagreeing with the fact that it's not fair that she should have to run against him, her, follow me. Now that they've conditioned your mind to take anything that's not human, that's not right, that's not Yah-like, now enter the new race. Now we've whipped you. We've conditioned you. We've trained you. We've got a hold of your mind. Therefore, we've got a hold of your will. Because they've been fighting for the soul of America, which is your will. Now, enter the new race. Sofia commented that in the future, she would like to see families made up of androids, and that she herself wants to have a robot baby with the same name. However, she clarified that she is still too young to be a mother, as we remember that it was only created in 2016 at Hanson Robotics Company in Hong Kong. Why does the android Sofia want to be a mom? Well, Sofia's artificial intelligence technology gives you the ability to increase your knowledge and language there through the sensors and cameras, which is what Sofia's name means, knowledge. This sensitivity system captures all the information it receives from the outside and replicates human behaviors in the most natural way possible, even gestures. Therefore, her desire to have a baby and start a family would only be a program of her system to imitate social behaviors. This is a new race. They gave her citizenship on paper, and reality is this is another race. This is not the first time that Sofia has starred in controversy, and in 2017, when she was named a citizen of Saudi Arabia, many people protested that even though she is a robot, she has more rights than human women in that country. Later in a conversation with David Hanson, its creator, he said that it would destroy humans. Let's leave that right there. His quote. That's his quote. I'm gonna leave. Did you see that? Later in a conversation with David Hansen, its creator, he said that it would destroy humans. He said it. Well, that's racism, right? You can get rid of one whole race. Isn't it about annihilation? Yeah, it is. Get it together. You ain't racist. Get it together. Get your mind right. You ain't racist. But they've penetrated your brain with it. So that even if you're strong enough to know that you're not, it's okay. Because you're really strong and you've withstood it. But there's some weak people out there that's going to relent to this. That's not going to say anything. They're going to feel uber uncomfortable on a bus or uber uncomfortable walking in the grocery store with this thing glaring at them. Dressed just like a female, dressed just like a guy. And because they have the fear of the term racist, because they've been beat down by everything that's violent and ugly, they're not going to be able to protect themselves. He said that it would destroy humans. We're going to end on that note. Ooh-wee, once AI achieves the sentience, androids will be a vessel for roaming spirits of fallen Rephaim. True facts. They are neutralizing humanity by creating a new reality. Yes. Deep race. Race is one place. Yep, first place. Yep. Who will be the daddy? Ooh, probably Duracell AAA. Or probably, who will be the daddy? Duracell D batteries. C batteries. Well, I think this has been the greatest 1 hour and 41 minutes in a minute. I think it's great. I think we've had a great time. Yes, I do. So, check us out today. We will be together at 3 o'clock Eastern Time on Headlines with a Voice. I will have my guest with me, Mr. Dr. B. We are going to be talking about all kinds of parasites. And I don't mean the kinds that swiggle around inside of your colon, although, yes, they do. We're talking about all kinds, like you got a parasite man, you got a parasite woman, you got a parasite child. I've been harping on the kid because I want the middle-aged one, the last middle-aged child to leave. But it's okay. That's for another time. But do you have a middle-aged child that just doesn't, they're not a bad guy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, William? They ain't terrible. You know what I'm saying? But you do want to be able to walk around in your boxers and eat your sandwich and your brewski without seeing your brewski can in the garbage that you worked so hard for. You come home. Remember what we said at the top? You come home, take a shower. Now you want to walk around in your boxers, going to make yourself a nice little sandwich. You want that last brewski, that last cold one, the last cold beer. And you go to find out that the middle-aged cat, the 35-year-old, the 34-year-old, the 30-year-old, I call all my kids that are 30 and over middle-aged. Oh, yes, it is bellicose. So we talked about a lot of stuff today. I hope you guys are able to go back and replay it if you've not been able to be here from the very beginning, if you've not been here from the beginning. Needless to say, I want to remind each and every one of you what we always say here on the Lockhart Perspective and any other one of the Felicia Lockhart Group's publications, and that is that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High. I want you guys to remember to take care of yourselves and then take care of everybody else around you. Mama, daddy, you cannot take care of them unless you took care of yourself first. Okay? All right. I want you guys to continue to love on each other until we see each other again. Hopefully you guys will hang out with me at 2 o'clock Central Time over there on Headlines with a Voice, if you get the chance. Until we see each other again, you guys, please continue to be blessed. Love all y'all.
Lockhart Perspective.